and welcome to the Teaching Corner. In our last video, we talked about how we hear. In this video, we're going to talk about the various types of hearing loss. So there are three types of hearing loss, two main types. And the first one is called a conductive loss. So we talked about how we hear with the outer ear and the middle ear. So various different things can cause these parts of our ears to be damaged or to have not developed correctly. We could have had a genetic disorder. There could have been an accident where part of our ear gets taken off or something happens. Some children are born with atresia, which means that the outer ear just does not form correctly. So depending on the damage that has happened, oftentimes conductive losses can be temporary, or they can be fixed either through surgery, or let's say you get a middle ear infection, otitis media, and you go to the doctor and they give you some antibiotics, and you take those antibiotics and the infection goes away and then you can hear. Sometimes they're not temporary, sometimes they can be permanent, just depending on what the problem is. So for instance, if a child has had chronic ear infections and that has turned into what they call glue ear, sometimes it can eat away at the bones in the middle ear, and sometimes surgery can fix that and sometimes it can't. But a lot of times conductive losses in the outer and middle ear are considered temporary, or they can be fixed with some kind of medication or surgery. The next kind of hearing loss is called sensory neural, and we talked about how in the cochlea there's all of these hair cells, and what happens is all of us will experience some form of hearing loss as we get older. That's called presbycusis. What happens over time is those nerve cells, as they vibrate, over time they will just break and they will bend over and they won't vibrate anymore. If you've ever gone to a loud rock concert and you come out of the concert and you hear ee coming out of your ear, that's because those nerve cells are just firing really rapidly, and they're just moving so very fast. And over time, it'll calm down and that sound will go away. But if you do that over a prolonged period of time and don't use ear protection when you go to those loud concerts and things like that, or say you work with airplanes and you're behind, that's why they wear those big earmuff type ear protection to protect their hearing, because we can also have noise-induced hearing loss. But oftentimes sensory neural hearing loss is permanent. Once those nerve cells have died or are no longer functioning, we can't get them back. And sometimes that's also from birth. People can have different genetic problems or even high fevers. If you remember Helen Keller, she was deaf and blind because she was born completely normal, but then had a disease that caused a high fever. And so cytomegalovirus is a very common one, and the fever gets so high it basically just fries the cochlea. And then, so we have conductive, we have sensory neural, and then mixed is when you have a little bit of both. So you have some sensory neural, but you also have conductive. Oftentimes with mixed hearing loss, the conductive part of the hearing loss can get fixed. So a child's hearing can improve when that conductive loss, maybe the ear infection or maybe a surgery that is needed, takes place, but they'll still have the sensory neural hearing loss part of their hearing loss. So I hope that was helpful. If it was, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye!